We need to tell the youth the truth that the normal things that happen in Nigeria are abnormal. The purchasing power of people is low in Nigeria, and that's what we mean by hard economy. So when economy is actually dark or economy is actually hard, it depicts that there is a gap in the power of people, right, to be able to purchase certain things. So let's say, for example, what you are buying before, let's say in 2000, in the year 2000 Nigeria, what you are buying at the rate of 50 naira, right, or let's say 5 naira, is now costing 50 naira. So there are some biscuits in Nigeria that you know that we bought 5 naira then, right, but now the biscuit is 50 naira. And that's, let's say, that's between the space of 20 years to, let's know, that to 25 years. Things change like that. Now the problem is not because the price of things increased. When the price of things increase like that, right, in a very rapid way, we call it inflation. That means the price of things are, really going higher. But that is not the problem. There's more to inflation, but I don't want to go deep on inflation. But the real problem is that people are not able to get those things at the price that it is being sold. We mean that the purchasing power of people is low, and that's where the big problem is. So when we talk about an economy an economy being hard, an economy being unfavorable, is talking about how that people do not have the power to purchase what they need to get, especially the basic things. So when we talk about basic things, we're not talking about cars, we're talking about food, shelter, rent, all of those things. So that's where the problem is really coming in right now. And this stage that Nigeria is causing many people to think otherwise. And what I mean by that is, now think about a person who is, because this scenario is very real about Nigeria, right? Forget about, maybe they're just in newspaper. You can sit down and also think about this thing ordinarily as a person. So imagine that a person who is collecting 45,000 naira, or let's say 30,000 naira, right, as a salary in 2015 in Nigeria. Right, so the price of biscuits increased from 5 naira to 15 naira. The price of bag of rice increased from 18,000 plus to 50 something thousand naira now. Now imagine that the increase in the salary of that person is just about, let's say, 25k. So the person is collecting 55k right now, right? And then in the space of those years where his salary was increased, things have gone up like times 10. But his own salary was actually times, not even by 2. It's just almost times 2. That's from 30,000 to 55 naira. So how do you, even if you are giving the person financial advice, save, invest, do this, how will that person be able to cover primary expenses, with that 55,000 naira? So it means that the things that person can go to market to buy before, I collect, my 30,000 salary, I can even buy a bag of rice. But now, even if you collect your 55,000 naira salary, you can't buy. If you buy a bag of rice, sometimes is about 50 plus. You are already spending almost all your salary to buy that bag of rice. So it means that for people to be able to buy certain things, their power is now low to purchase those things. There was a time that people used to say, in Nigeria, a civil servant, is able to get a car. Like if they save from their salary. They have this saving that they used to do, that they can be able to get a car. But a civil servant in Nigeria right now, the minimum wage is 70k. How much is a good car? Right now. So will you tell someone that's collecting 70,000 naira to save for a 4 million car, a 4.5 million naira car? Till when? Because he will eat from that money. Come to work. So the problem of people right now is that they are being pushed to a point where, for them to get certain things that they need, they do not have the necessary resources to get it. You see that, right? So now, in the midst of all this, right, what this conversation is now about is how will you as a youth now cause a change, right? It is not about how will I get out of it alone. How will I, get out of, it starts with you understanding that the nation needs you for Nigeria to work again. And when you talk about this, people want to talk about, oh, maybe you want to start from here, start from here. You can start from where you are. The reason why I mention youth right now is because youth have the energy, youth have the vitality. When it comes to creative thinking, when it comes to even physical activities, anything, you will see that youths actually have the effrontery, the capacity to be able to undo things. That is where the vitality of every human being is full. You understand? At that stage, your bone is full, your capacity is full. You can think so greatly, all of those things. So youths, the ones that have the most energy, are the ones that Nigeria needs to come to a place, right, where we begin to live above this hard economy. And first of all, for a youth to start with, a youth needs to understand that survivor is not the game. I was saying something the other time. Many people have been pushed now, both old and young, have been pushed in Nigeria to want to believe that, oh, is a place that for things to be better, it will be so hard, things are very hard. Many people are falling into depression, many people are falling into thinking a lot, right? And the reason is because the economy pushed them to that point, which means that everybody right now everybody is in Nigeria, right? Nigeria has a situation, it affects everybody. That's why youth began to adopt some slogan like, for example, if a youth and a maybe another youth met, maybe they've been separated for a long time and they meet, the kind of pleasantries they give to each other. You'll be hearing, for example, especially when one youth asks the other about the situation of things. How your life now, things now. Yeah, though, say this country hard. And it has become a slogan so much that even when things are okay for a particular person as a youth, you want to say those slogans to feel among. So it is now a slogan that you have to say to ensure that you are feeling among in Nigeria. Why? Because that pattern of economy is on everybody. So most people are accepting the reality that things are hard. Things are because even if you meet a person, maybe your friend, and say, this is hard. Nigeria, things are just hard. And the person says, well, actually, me, I've been making a lot of profit in my business. If you say that among a group of them, the way they will look at you, like, what are you saying? Right? And that posture is not just because the economy is hard. It's not just because the purchasing power of people is low. It's because they have accepted the reality. So there is a problem on ground. Youths have accepted a reality, and that reality weakens creativity. That reality weakens thriving. And that's why I will tell you the truth. Many youths in Nigeria right now, they are surviving, not thriving. There's a difference between survival and to thrive. Right? Because when we say about survivor is like, let me eat for this day, I'm okay. At least for these 3 days, I have 16,000. If I'm able for 16 days, I will find work to do again. And then there was a time that Ozu was the word in Nigeria. If you check the word Ozu is not for a man of vision. Ozu is a man that just wants to live some certain days of his life to take care of himself and maybe other people that are very close to him and be fine. Ozu is a word that is for a person who wants to settle for less. And people are not settling for less not because they have goals. I'm not taunting at youth. I'm not saying Nigeria youth are did that. It's because, right, the economy of this nation has caged them. But as a youth now, hearing this thing, watching this, you can make a difference. And for you to make a difference, it does not start with what do I do now? It starts with how do I think now? Because you need to reinform yourself. If you do not reinform yourself, even if you go out there, things will not change. I said something the other time. Some youths in Nigeria are doing great. Some are making 4.5 million, above 4 million, above 5 million per month. But if they still gather among their friends, they will still tell each other and say, Nigeria bad. But he knows that he's actually gaining this economy. Things are very fine for him. Very fine. But that word we still want to come out because he wants to feel among, because that's the state of things. So the normality in Nigeria, we need to tell the youth the truth that the normal things that are happening in Nigeria are abnormal. right? And one of the things that affected Nigeria most is how it is spread online. You understand, social media and all. You see all these guys that many of these use kind to follow. They say things like that. Even though these people that are saying it are making money off content or anything they are doing, but they will still want to let you understand that things are hard because that is the reality you also can accept. So it now became normal. But that normality is abnormal. So for Nigeria not to be like this, it starts with the youth. Oh, bad leadership, yes. Nigeria has bad leadership. But if the bad leadership goes, who will stay? Who will retain those positions? Where are they? And if you think that the solution to Nigeria is that you fight bad leadership, right? That everybody has to go and fight bad leadership. If you think that the solution to Nigeria is not, why some people are going forward to say, oh, bad leadership, and they are campaigning against, there should be some set of people that are sitting and are learning and are building. So that when there is the grant for expansion for Nigeria, that, oh, we now need, okay, Nigeria is now at a good terrain, right? We cannot begin to bring up things. Those people are the ones that will front it. And these youth, these same people that will front it are youths, are energetic people. So do you know how to belittle yourself? The first thing is move from the place of survivor to the place of thriving. I'm not saying move from the place of having 10,000 naira, per week, trying to having 100,000. I'm not talking about money now. It's about your thinking. Change your thinking, change your mindset. Right now, I believe that I'm meant not to survive. I'm meant not to say, oh, at least if things are still okay for me, make person shall they push am, one day it could be better, things like that. No, that word is a word of a surviving man. And a surviving man is a man that life has caged him. It's okay to start from survivor. You can start from there, but don't stay there. Don't believe that that's how you will live it. Let's just be pushing it like that. You can't just be pushing it like that. In this dark economy, as dark as the economy, as hard as the economy is, that is the moment that great people rise. Whenever there are problems, what are we selling today? What are we giving out today? Solutions. So when there is a problem, or when problems are very much or very thick, that is when great people arise. Because that is where there is need for a huge load of solution. That is why you will notice that in Nigeria, there are some businesses that are selling fast, right? Because right now, the first thing that most Nigerian needs, don't let me say the first thing that every Nigerian needs is self-esteem. The economy has weakened everybody's self-esteem. He has given people depression. He has made people who has vision of one day I'll make 500 million. Some of them even wrote it in paper. It's not that they were not serious with their lives, but they gave it up and they were rising a machine. And they say, oh, no, it is Okada now. And because they've tried everything and they believe that even if you are telling them that they still feel like, oh, what you are saying, I've tried almost everything. Right. But one thing that I said, even the Okada, the one that resorted to selling Okada, selling recharge card, it's not that Okada is bad, but it's not that it's a no. Right. You can start from there and have 2 Okada, give somebody so you can expand. I'm just saying that some people settle so low for certain jobs and stay there. Right. So for you to be able to sell anything in Nigeria, you can sell many things now. But for you to be able to sell anything, ensure that you sell 2 things. You said the first thing that Nigeria is looking for, I said, is what? Self-esteem. Anything you are giving, ensure that you are tailoring it to make people feel good, make people feel worthy. That's the first thing. And that's why if you look at the social media space, right, many skit makers are selling. There was a time that skit was the thing in Nigeria. Comedy was the thing in Nigeria. Do you know why? Because many people are depressed. The economy has pinned people so much that they could find comfort in nothing again. So anything that can make them to find comfort, they will buy it. If they don't have more money for data, they can go and borrow the money. Not because, they just like the online thing. Not because they are addicted. It's because they are finding something. They are finding self-esteem. They are finding a place that they can relax. They can laugh. They can, even if for 30 minutes, they can forget about everything happening in Nigeria. So that gives them a kind of self-esteem, a kind of self-worth, kind of confidence, right? That does not exist because it's temporal. The main confidence comes from within you. So if you are selling anything in Nigeria, because whatever solution you will provide, you have to sell it. And selling it is not about people giving you money for it first. In fact, if I want to tell the person to buy my product and I give the person something free, that oh, maybe taste my product, I'm still selling it. In that moment, I'm still selling it. Even though I've not received your yes or no, but that's still selling. Right? I'm giving you something, right? So whatever you will sell, ensure that it brings about it gives self-worth, self-esteem to any youth or to anybody, sorry, in Nigeria. Then the second thing is convenience, right? The second thing right now is convenience. Now, convenience is that you're giving people, because convenience is based on creativity. There is no point that human race will get to, that human race will reject creativity. In fact, the technology, this chair that you're seeing today, everything is based on creativity. Creativity is about thriving when things are getting better. So focus on giving people a sense of self-worth and ensuring that you're giving them convenience in whatever you are actually doing. If you do this in this hard economy, you will be able to accrue so much wealth. But listen, where we started from is that you have to understand that you are not to survive. You are meant to strive. You are not to struggle in your mind to strive. The moment you believe that I am meant to is different from I want to thrive. Many of the youth want to thrive. It's a desire. They do not know that they are meant to thrive in your prime with this power. You see that, and it is not based on you are 18 years, right? A 13 years old can begin to exhibit the energy of a youth because everything is about here. So you need to understand how so vital, how so full of energy you are, and what are you doing with that energy? That's why learning is not optional for a youth. Read books, learn things, ask intelligent questions. But somebody will say, in this kind of work that I'm doing, 95 work, I'm collecting 30K, I'm a teacher, it's not working. With where you are, what will change your situation is not because something outward happens, it's because something inside is happening. So people can be seeing me as a teacher. I may be seeing myself also. Like, okay, I'm working as a teacher, I'm collecting 30K salary. But what I'm building for myself, how I'm building myself so much, is in being a teacher, right? That would begin to teach at a high level of education where I'll be collecting 250K as a teacher. And it's not that I'm teaching in a university, I'm still teaching in maybe secondary school or primary school. Because there are primary schools that pay such. There are secondary schools that pay such. But why are they not hiring you? I don't have connection, it's a lie. As much as that is also a problem in Nigeria, it's only people that they know favoritism. And in every manner, in every space that you find obstacle, there's always a solution. If you know you are meant for it. Right? So in whatever you want to provide, or I want to be an engineer, I want to whatever, I don't know what you want to do, a barber, anything you want to do, understand that give people self-worth in Nigeria and give them confidence, and give them convenience. People will buy you. You need to do marketing, adverts, all of those processes are not outside of it. But ensure that the end product of what that thing you are providing is giving is that it gives them self-worth. It gives them convenience. Give them convenience. Right? So, for example, I'm selling a very beautiful product, and people like it when they use it, or when they eat it, or when they get it. And people asking me questions like, okay, like your own things are, and the price is okay, and you're like, I like to give people the best. Do you know that simple word that you tell that person can make that person not leave you for 20 years? The person believes that you esteem him or her. That's what people are finding right now in Nigeria. It's not just some people say, people just want to hear, people just want to hear jokes and laugh. It's not about the laughing. They want to, at a point, look at their life and say, things are also well with me. I am okay. I'm mentally okay. But they know that they are not. In about 1 hour, they watch the TikTok, they will now look at it and say, how will I eat? Understand? That's when reality will not dawn on them again. It's temporary. Right? But as a youth, you have to understand that this other economy is and can become a leverage for you. It depends on how you take it. Already it's pushing some people to think everything is just abnormal. Everything is not working. While it's pushing some people to want to go more. Right? So the difference between you and I is that the way we think is different. It's different. And problem is, do not want to feel among. It is very easy to say Nigeria is hard. That's why it looks abnormal to want to say, oh, Nigeria is good to me, or no, or no, my things are moving better. But it's not abnormal. It's normal to say it. But because of the reality everywhere, it's just like you're telling a person, can't you see that things are hard? Can't you see there with the price of fuel? You can definitely see it. It's not in the dream. Now, this is what Nigeria has become. Right? When you can buy tomatoes 5K, you'll be like, wow, in the year 2000, this is like 300 naira. 5K tomatoes, it's like 300 naira. So imagine that gap. So people will tell you there's something in this nation. You are seeing things happen, right? But you need to begin to change your perspective to change your life. It starts from there. You now have to understand also that no matter what you are doing as a Nigerian youth, you need to be a person, right? You need to have built yourself to a person that is not playing low. What I mean is that whatever you're selling, the people that becomes mega, that their business become mega and great, are people that venture into the act of distributing what they are selling. If I start, this business with, oh, I'm just getting raw materials from where I am, I'm doing, your vision should be that I will get to a point where I'll be making this very thing. There are businesses in Nigeria that if they say they are not operating in Nigeria for 24 hours, it will affect almost every cook and cranny of this nation. You must get there. And how did those businesses get there? They got to the distribution of those things, right? They got to a point where they were making those things, or they were at the center of the distribution of those materials. And that's how you can begin to now control certain things in the economy also. So because so if I start the business, or I'm getting raw materials here, okay, can I get raw materials in Lagos? I cannot begin to get it here. Okay, can I begin to get it maybe from this country? Okay, I've gotten it from this country for about 4 years. I cannot begin to also build it in Nigeria. I can begin to get the machines. I want to also begin to do it in Nigeria. That's what we call expansion. Right? And that expansion will now make you a person who has power. There are businessmen that has power, and they are not all the political positions. There are businessmen in Nigeria that when the president is elected, the president will meet them. And it's not that they will lobby to go and meet the president will call them. And they do not hold a chairman position in Nigeria. They are men of power. Why? Because they control the economy, is because they control the distribution of products that are very vital to Nigeria economy. So the presidents have to call them. People in even political powers have to call them. They also have power. They can cause a major shift in the economy. Right? You can get there and you must get there. That is the main thing that everyone in Nigeria has to understand. In this point that everywhere is dark, the sayings are becoming more common everywhere. If you go to the north, the south, the east, it's not like, oh, they're enjoying here, things are better. It's affecting everywhere. So the reactions and the expressions, and it's almost the same thing. And when people say it, you also want to relate with them. Like what you're saying is true, right? But as much as what they are saying is fact, right? Build your own perspective, build your own fact. And that's how you can begin to build an atmosphere to ensure that things work better for you, starting from you and to others, and particularly to the nation Nigeria. So build this kind of perspective, ensure that everything you're giving is giving out self-esteem to people and convenience. And with this, we are seeing you at the top. So in this hard economy, you can make a big difference as a youth. You have the vitality to go for it.